Hey, Prepper. Hey, Eli. How are y'all doing, family? Hey, Christy sis. Nice, Prepper. Nice. Hey, Balla. How you doing? Hey, Ryan. I'm gonna have to smoke before. Hey, Coconut. How you doing? Hey, Connor, brother. All right. We got plenty of people in here. Hey, Bama. How you doing? So, tonight, mental not mental health technically, mental stability. And this goes for all things. You know, survival, daily life, prepping. It doesn't need to be an apocalypse, but it can turn into your own personal apocalypse. Oh, I'm good. There you go, brother. So, mental stability doesn't matter what it is. Mental stability can crash the perfect scenario. Mental stability can hurt a group. It can hurt yourself. It can hurt the situation that you are currently in. Mental stability doesn't give a shit when it decides to hit you. I don't hit that stuff anymore. I haven't touched it since I was like 16. It did nothing for me. I found better alternatives. But here's the thing: mental stability. It can break down even the strongest pack. It can break down the strongest mind. It can bring down not only just your mental health, and doesn't, it's not just females and men. It happens to us all. And that's what's happening slowly and slowly and slowly in this community. Right, Coconut. Here's the thing: you can break down under thousands upon thousands of what if scenarios you can break down under one scenario. We all may think we have mental fortitude. We all believe and we all hope that we can survive through anything, whether it's spiritual, family, whatever. It all breaks down and it all kills you. Right? But here's the thing, you need to learn. We all need that backing. We all need the mortar between the bricks to build a good wall. And if we don't have that mortar, we don't have the bricks to lay to support and protect our mental health in any situation, we're fucked. We are seriously and utterly fucked. Right, Coconut. Right, Prepper. Right. Right, Ryan. Right, brother. But here's the thing. How do you know? Do you even know what your mental breaking point is? Do you know how to exercise the demons that float around in your mind that is slowly picking you apart? Which ones are the worst? Which ones can you subside and quiet down? Which ones can't be? You need to do a mental test on yourself. And that's everybody. And I know a lot of people have been through the military. A lot of people have been. The question is can you put a bullet into somebody? I'm talking about literally put them off the map. Can you can you turn down a family? Can you turn down a child when push comes to shove and you are low on resources? Oh. But here's the thing, Ryan. Here's the thing, Bama. Mental fortitude and everything. Yes, fear, fears itself are not just physical or looking at a situation that brings physical fear to you. All of that stuff can be washed over. But like I was saying, that Ryan cannot turn down a child in a situation. But here's the thing. Would you have enough rations? Do you know how much rations that you can give out? And here's the thing. In a survival situation, in a prepper situation, a child does not eat that much. Ah, crap. Sorry, I'm back. Okay. The question is, well, the situation is a child does not eat that much, but a child eats more during the day, and you have to give more nutrients to a child in a survival situation. Right now, yeah, there's enough food and everything to support a child. But later on, during an SHTF situation, a child is the least and the most taxing of the situations to be able to keep up, to sorry everybody, I'm driving so I can't read chat right now, so I'm just picking this subject at the moment. But in an SHTF situation, a child is one of the major things to bring down to bring down a castle, to bring you down, to hurt you. Because a child is a good mental breakdown in multiple levels instead of just one. Because that child does grow up. That child, if you save that child, if that child's family ends up dying, you have to go through other mental breaks with that child, trying to tell that child what to do. They're going to throw, say you rescued a child at 5 years old and you raise that child at 5 years old. Now it's 10 years. Now it's another 5 years on top of that. That child's 10 years old. You have to go through all the mental fortitude of that child telling you you're not that child's parents. It's not going to listen to you. It's always going to throw grief at you. It's going to throw other mental blocks towards you. It's going to raise your anger. It's going to raise your pain. It's going to challenge a thing that humans made up called love. Love, or the idea of love, is a dangerous thing. Love will kill you. In an SHTF situation, in an everyday situation, you can show love and still get hurt by it. You can be the most loving person, but you will get hurt from it. In an SHTF situation, you're going to have to learn to turn off that one emotion called love to anybody that is outside of your bubble outside of who you truly can trust, who you can truly have at your side. Love not only hurts you emotionally, it emotionally damages you. It emotionally breaks your mental fortitude down. So, in a SHTF situation, love cannot be freely given. Love, having a heart, will kill you in an SHTF situation. And I hate saying it, but it's true. Because once you open up that barrier and you try to be humane in an SHTF situation, you're done for. There's other ways to combat the feelings of love and fear in an SHTF situation. If you find a child, raise them to a certain point, and it's better to kick them out with a care package. And it's the same way with other people. The bad thing is the bad news is you should not accept anything like that to begin with. I hate to say it, but it's better to put a child out or a hurting family or a starving family, because you don't know the consequences that can come with that. Say you take a family in that does have a child. That family now knows where your castle is. That family knows where your food supply is. That family knows where your boundaries are. They will come back, and next time they come back, they're going to bring others to your fortification, to your castle. And instead of putting them down where they were so they cannot go and tell others, now you have to worry about others coming to your castle. In an SHTF situation, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about in any other kind of situation. You have to protect yourself and what you have prepared. You've only prepared for you and your family. You have not prepared for anybody else in that equation. And also, you have to have the mental wall to block out humanity in an SHTF situation. Because others that you have no clue cannot be trusted in a situation like that. They can and they will turn on you like a wild, rabid beast. There is no glory at the end of the rainbow in an SHTF situation. There's not. And to protect you, your family, your loved ones that you have prepared to protect. You can't be humane. You cannot be human anymore. You have to become feral. All the time. They can tell me that the uncultured or evil or anything like that. It's called survival of the fittest. You have to become like our ancestors did to get anywhere in a SHTF situation. You have to find your weaknesses because everybody has a different breaking point. And a majority of people in an SHTF situation is going to die because of that one emotion that humans have, which is called love, called humanity. Because I'll tell you right now, everybody out there is going to be humane. Everybody out there something how society has raised humans to be in the last 20 years. It's all about me. Also, in an SHTF situation, you're also going to have to learn how to break mental fears also. And there is over 500 different mental fears out there that you may have 1 or 20 of those mental fears rolling around through your head. Fear of heights, fear of the dark, fear of the unknown, things like that. People have anxiety. People have, everything and anything wrong with them. And it's hard. I'm not telling people, oh, you can get over epileptic seizures. No, but take that into account with your fears of what can happen. That's why you do a self-assessment. That's why you see what weaknesses that you do have that you have to prep for or overcome. Because if you don't do a self-check and you don't realize your weaknesses to your strengths, you are not going to survive. Sorry, I'll read chat and everything. I'll go back and I'll read chat and stuff, and we'll discuss more. But right now I'm driving, so I can't really read and drive because the deers are out now because spring's here. So, I mean, physical disability, stuff like that, you cannot get over, you know? And I hate saying this. You know, I have a disabilitating disease also. I have type 1 diabetes. So all my internal organs and everything are slowly dying because I need insulin to survive. That's my fear. That's my problem. That's also a detriment to my health. And in SHTF situation, I've only got enough insulin to survive for a year. And what happens when it runs out? Look how many other diabetics and everything are out there. And that's the first thing in an SHTF situation that is going to be killed for either a family's children or a loved one or something. You can stockpile all this basic medication. You can stockpile all this, headache medicine, all that stuff. But when it comes to debilitating diseases and stuff, you cannot overstock it because it has a real expiration date. Not like food. Food's expiration date and stuff has so many preservatives and everything in it that we don't have to worry about that. But when it comes to medicine and stuff that we cannot replicate in an SHTF situation, you have to look at those things. You have to be more observant on those items. So when you're by yourself, because I know everybody on here, I'm the only one that's going to speak the truth on here. I'm not Superman. I am not a badass lone wolf. I know this. I have too many bad qualities to my body and everything. So you know what I'm going to do? I may be able to handle 3 or 4 guys that come up on my land hand to hand, but before they come up there and before it gets to throwing hands, I'm going to snipe every single one of you in the head with a 22. Y'all ain't going to make it on my land. But that's the thing. You have to realize when shit hits the fan and when you're by yourself at night, you know that you're not John Rambo. At me. You know what? I am telling you the truth. That's why you're getting pissed. Is because I'm telling you the truth. Make sure that you are ready for when shit happens. This ain't a game. It's not a game. Us preppers and everything, us preppers and survivalists and bushcrafters and all this stuff, yeah, there's hundreds of people that claim to be survivalists or claim to be bushcrafters or claim to be whatever out there, but they're hobbyists. They put themselves in perfect situations where the weather is perfect, or where they don't have to do anything while they're sitting there with a broken leg or a broken arm or anything. Oh, I go out into the woods with bare minimum equipment and I've got to survive 24 hours. Oh my God, I'm so scared. Fuck them. They've never once been in a real survival situation. None of us, none of us have been in a true, real survival situation. Even when I broke my leg and I had to crawl back to my car, I was in a real situation. But the thing is sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, there is doomsday preppers and everything out there prepping for one fucking situation that's going to go down. And it's always the fucking zombie apocalypse that everybody's going for. You know? Yeah. You know what? The zombie apocalypse will happen after the shit hits the fan happens. When there is humans literally roaming around in the streets, roaming around in the cities that are willing to kill, rape, and murder to get whatever scrap of food or whatever scrap of materials that you are carrying on you that you scavenge to survive. That is a zombie. There is no brain eating, walking dead, whatever that's going to happen. Because here's the thing, if a real zombie apocalypse happens, the smell alone from the rotting flesh and the decomposition of these bodies is not only going to make you disgustingly sick, it's going to poison you because all the air around is going to be toxic. You are going to be sick 24/7. You are not going to be walking out like John Rambo and putting a small little dagger through a zombie's brain and putting it out. No, you're not. This shit needs to stop. This shit needs to come to reality. Because here's the thing, 99% of these glorified preppers, homesteaders, all this stuff are going to die. And they're probably going to die within the first 6 months or whatever because they believe that they are perfect. And a lot of people have the lone wolf mentality. The lone wolf, I'm going to go out into the woods. I'm going to survive everything that God throws at me, and I'm going to make it with a knife on my side. And you're not. You seriously are not going to make it. Because there is so much things out there that you cannot do with just a knife on your side and live. Right, Ryan. Well, the thing is prepping is more for Prepping is more for stabilizing the situation, you know, having food at your reach, having shelter, having the gear and the tools to be able to process water, process food, process all this different stuff. Start of the starting line. Prepping isn't the end all be all of anything. I mean, because there's people that are living, and I'm going to tell you what, the homeless are pretty much going to be the only people that's going to be able to survive, to really survive a SHTF situation. Hey, Warhorse brother. All right, let me get back up here. Let me go through and see what people were saying. Hold on. I know I probably missed a lot of people. Hey, Kayla, how you doing? Uh, hey, AAP brother, how you doing? Hey, Vegas sis, how you doing? Right, prepper. You know, it's not going to be easy to take a child's life, but it's better for them in the long run to go ahead and end their suffering than have them starving. You know, uh, danger is a danger in turning off love, though. With it could very well go our trust, our logic, rationality. Right, Ryan. Uh, like what Ryan said, turning off love does turn off everything else. But look how many serial killers there has been in the serial killers out there. You know, escaped the cops, have escaped the FBI, everything. It doesn't mean I'm not saying turn off love completely. I'm talking about turning off love towards other individuals, keeping love for only your close family only, and putting that wall, that protective barrier up against others. Because once you allow once you allow a chaotic force into your bubble, it will destroy your bubble. I I'll put that on a shirt. I, but it's true, Bama. I mean, Bama said this is deep, second star. It is. It nobody wants to ever go on to these subjects. Everybody else is too afraid to touch on this, but it's not. I mean, it this world is not perfect. Nobody human in this world, we are only society makes us be human. Right, Prepper. Yeah. Learn how to set traps. Yes. But traps, but the thing with traps, old school traps and everything, you have to set multiple different traps to be able to catch one meal. Some places you can set up 30 traps and not catch anything. Or you could set up 3 traps and catch 3 meals. It just depends. Hello. Hey, Cassie, sis. Welcome. Thank y'all. Sorry I was cutting out. I'm sorry. Right. Right, Prepper. It's the wrong time to learn to overcome a fear. That's why you have to start doing self-assessment now before it happens. Yes. Unless the Mohicans, Hawkeye had his family helping him. Yes, Ryan. That's what I'm trying to say. Keep your family close to you. Do not trust anybody outside your family. See, old fart talk, which is Warhorse, um, there is plants that is a insulin suit, but it's only mostly usable for type 2 diabetics, like sour melons. Um, Mostly sour melons are an insulin producing thing, but it's not enough for a insulin dependent diabetic. It doesn't produce that much insulin for it can be a secondary ration to where instead of me taking 3 shots a day, I could go to eating 4 slices of sour melon and taking 1 insulin shot a day. That would keep me around longer, but Ryan. Yeah, Ryan. Yeah, I heard about that theory, but there's also a chemical theory where you literally can pull out insulin from a goat's pancreas and chemically enhance it to become a humanoid insulin. Yeah, see, Prepper, like the oral insulin, I can't take that because it doesn't work for me. Um, I literally have to have the actual liquid insulin put into my body. Yeah, but how much? Ryan says mulberry leaf, licorice root. How much is in that? How much do I need to process of that? No, I have 3 natural honeybee hives on my land. I don't have a actual, you know, apiary for it. Oh yeah, yeah, Chad. I saw you throw the bluebird at my window. But if I check it right now, it'll kick me off of blah blah blah. Uh, whatever this thing is. All right. Okay. Yeah, I can't digest insulin. Yeah. All right, brother. Yeah, I'll have to look at that because my diabetic doctor and everything tried to sell me on sour melon, and I would have to he took me off the sour melon because I had to eat almost 4 sour melons a day just to get half of my daily intake of insulin. Hey Tyler, brother, how you doing? Yeah, prepper, you're really lucky, brother. Yeah. See, Bama, the see, I really hate all these. I mean, every single one of them. I mean, even John Wayne. They made a John Wayne bushcrafting book, and John Wayne never once set foot out. Wayne never once was an outdoorsman. He was a hunter, yeah, but he wasn't an outdoorsman. But they made a bushcrafting book of John Wayne, the Duke. And books are nice, well, to be knowledge and have a reference to go back onto. But it's actual skills and everything. And you got to realize a lot of those shelters, a lot of primitive trap building, stuff like that, takes up calories, takes up time, takes up a lot of water because you're doing a lot all those shelters and doing all this stuff by hand, like making a bow drill fire and making an ember and blowing it into flame. And it's there's so much stuff that has been created for survival and bushcrafting and outdoor use and stuff that the old books and the old knowledge is pretty much obsolete because hell, why am I going to spend 5 hours or 4 hours breaking down trees, cutting trees down, stacking them together to make an A frame, covering it in moss if I have moss, or digging up and like brushing up leaves to pour the leaves on top to make extra insulation. Why am I going to do all that stuff when I can carry a 2 pound tent on my backpack and pop it up and sleep in that? Yeah. Hey Sammy sis, how you doing? But a lot of the old knowledge and everything is basic knowledge. And when those books came out and everything, right? But see, like springs and everything, they don't all the time have fish in there because fish follow the currents. So you may be able to go one day and catch plenty of panfish or, small brown trout or, a catfish or whatever. But 2 days from now, or say you have a heavy rain for 3 days, guess what? Those fish are now scavengers. They are eating the worms and everything that come out of the ground and wash out into the water, and they won't go for your bait. They won't go for your fishing line. You have to know nature. You have to know what, like, I've went fishing and I've seen a school of bass that were sitting in the wave pool waiting for the tide to come in to take them back out into the lake. They were sitting there. There was probably about 50 fish in this school just sitting there. I threw my lure into that school 5 to 10 times and nothing bit it. The fish didn't even move to even look at it or pay attention to it. And they were literally right there in front of me. I could see them and they didn't do anything. See, that's another thing. Catfish are they'll eat anything, don't get me wrong. But the thing is catfish usually eat a big enough bait to where they only eat once a day. Most of the time with catfish, you have to literally go into their tunnel. You'd have to get wet, you'd have to get into the water and put your arm into their hole. And if they're big enough, they will bite onto your arm, called noodling, and pull them out by the gills. But that's only if they're big enough to bite onto your arm. Most of the time, catfish sleep on the bottom. They're all the time just waiting for something big to eat. And after they eat, they don't really want to bite anymore. Most likely, what you would get in a fishing situation is throwing a hook out with live bait on it and let a turtle bite onto it, or put yo-yo fishing traps onto tree limbs that overhang the bank of the river. Have that hook floating in the water with something flashy on it, a piece of tin, whatever, a piece of aluminum, whatever, to draw the attention, because that's what attracts fish. You need something flashy to attract their hunting sense. So you have it there and it's constantly flashing, then that fish will bite onto that yo-yo reel and pull it out of the water. Do things in a survival situation to where you do not burn calories, where you are having things do the work for you. Oh yeah, prepper. See, yeah, right, Bama. That's the thing, you know. People thought, oh, cavemen and all this stuff were just constantly out. Yes, they were constantly out foraging, but they were foraging around their base, around their campfire. They were setting traps. They were finding bird nests. They were doing things that did not waste all their calories because they knew, what's the point in getting something to eat when you're starving? They're putting that much strain on your body at all times hurts you. Like our Native American ancestors, most of the time when they found wild edibles, they would bring it back to their camp and they would plant it around the reservation. They would plant it around their area that they set up to camp or live at. So it would grow nearer, closer to them. So they did not have to go farther distance to go and try to find the same resources over and over and over again. Work work smarter, not harder in any kind of situation. Because once you start burning calories, you get hungry, you get thirsty. And if you cannot forage anything, you are coming back and you're hungry. And now you're in a starvation state with no resources. And the whole idea of drinking water to fill your stomach up does not work. It's a mental thing. It mentally makes you think, oh, I am full, but your stomach knows that it's just water. It's no substance in it. So your stomach is still growling, still trying to process something to eat. And what it's doing is now processing the fat on your body, the fat that's going to keep you alive and keep you going. Your body's now eating it because it needs something to digest. It's, but people, this is what happens with a lot of prepper and survival communities and stuff. They are giving people the wrong messages. They are giving people the wrong things. Just like one of the famous survivalists, Les Stroud. Les Stroud says a human body can survive on less than a teaspoon of water a day. That is bullshit. The teaspoon of water only takes care of one organ. You need at least 16 ounces to hydrate all your organs. That teaspoon of water goes straight to rehydrating your heart and your blood. And if it's not enough, your blood starts to dry out. That's why when people go into dehydration, they cannot move their arms, they cannot walk because their blood vessels are drying up inside. Homestead. Hooga, how you doing? And hunger pains and starvation and dehydration are the worst pains you can go through. And right now, does anybody know how to survive on small rations? Does anybody here know how to go on the military ration diet? The military ration diet, I learned from my uncle that was in Vietnam and everything, and he was overweight. So they put him on the military ration diet of 3 spoonfuls of tuna, just the tuna, no adding anything to it, but 3 spoonfuls of tuna on 3 saltine crackers. And he ate that 3 times a day for 3 weeks. He went from being 220 pounds to 170 pounds in 3 weeks on that diet. He didn't die. He was starving. His stomach shrunk, but he also lost all that weight also. Yeah, brother. But that's the thing. It's full of protein, and you have the carbs from the bread, from the saltine crackers. And plus, you have the salt from the saltine crackers to rehydrate your body for the electrolytes that you're losing in the process of your body eating all the fat reserves. Yeah, I mean, the thing is the mentality, Bama. The nice warhorse. I mean, diets are different for everybody, Huga, but it's what fits for you. You know what I mean? Like, when I tried to teach my body how to go on a ration diet, I did the military diet because I'm a diabetic. We can't really just stop eating anything and everything or go to a liquid diet or anything like that because we'll get low blood sugars. We could die. We could pass out. Or we could have the reverse effect of the same thing, but with high blood sugars and killing us. So I did the military ration with the 3 spoonfuls of tuna on 3 saltine crackers. My blood sugars were perfect. And yes, I did lose weight because I have a high metabolism. So I went from like 180 down to 170 in like 2 weeks. So that's another thing that, besides mental stability and everything, you have to train your body. Because here's the thing, you may have plenty of stocks right now, but if a SHTF situation happens, truly happens, you need to start rationing when it starts. Not 6 months down the road. I'm talking about when it starts. You start rationing. You start learning how to. It's better if you start now to see how well your body handles rationing, because it's better to start now and see when you do have actual food to eat than at a time when you don't have that food, when you don't have something to take over to experiment with. Oh, I'm sorry, Huga. I'm so sorry. Hey, Ivy sis, how you doing? Oh yeah, Warhorse. I mean, everybody now should start their garden. Everybody should learn how to do a year-round garden. Go ahead and start planting it. Because you know what? Say you plant today and say next week SHTF happens. you planting that garden a week ago is already a week ahead of the game because you have to put the growing cycle into your time frame. Well, good morning, Ivy. That's good to hear. That's good to hear, Huga, sis. But every step of the game, you need to try to be ahead of it, at least 2 steps. Because when shit hits the fan, you're going to be knocked back 15 steps. It doesn't matter how prepared you are. It doesn't matter how stocked you are. It doesn't matter how much you have trained. The reality of it, the fear of it, the the reactment of it, everything is going to knock you back. And you're going to have to take 15 steps back. So it's better to have at least 3 to 4 steps ahead of the game so you can get back, knock back 11 steps and not 15. But the thing, every little bit that you do, because like I was saying about rationing, if you could learn how to ration yourself, you know how your body's going to react when you need to start rationing food. I mean, like if you have fish and everything around you, and you're going out fishing and all this stuff, what happens when those fish move upstream? What happens when those fish leave those waters for warmer waters during the winter time and you don't have that resource? It say say you hunt all around your land. You know what? Animals aren't dumb. Animals leave an area and won't come back if you've killed more than 3 of their kind on your land. They will not come back because they know it's a death zone. They will leave. So that means you're going to have to go out farther. You're going to have to waste more calories, more time, and more effort to go and try to find resources. So, right now, you need to learn. And like I said, the best thing is just plain tuna. I'm not talking about any tuna that is pre-seasoned or made the way that you want it made to make the taste better. I'm talking about just tuna out of a can, through a scoop of tuna on one saltine cracker, a scoop on one saltine cracker, and a scoop on one saltine cracker for 3 crackers with tuna on it for breakfast, 3 crackers with tuna on it for lunch, and 3 crackers on it with tuna at night. One can of tuna is supposed to be one meal for one day, and 9 crackers. Right, Huga. Right. Boom. Right there. But that's the thing. And I know I lost a lot of people. I know I did. When I start going on a rant and I start telling what people need to do, what people are supposed to do in a reality survival situation or a reality shit hit the fan situation. Because that's the thing. All preppers and everything, we're prepping for a bad time. But here's the thing. We don't know when that bad time's ever going to happen. We don't know when the shit SHTF situation is going to happen. So we have all this stuff that is constantly being cycled out, constantly being rotated, used, and we just say, oh, we'll just go down to the grocery store and just restock those shelves because these cans are hitting their expiration date. Let's go ahead and eat all these cans and prepare. Then we just go down to the grocery store and restock. We all do it. We all do it. Even me. I do it too. I say we'll just go to the grocery store and just restock because we got to use all these cans. But in an SHTF situation, guess what? Those cans are not going to be replenished ever. I mean, I truly, truly do want to believe that, Bama, but I came from a Baptist family and all this stuff, and even my grandfather and grandmother that were Cherokee, and they were devout Christians and everything, but we still prepped. We still had fears. I mean, look at the Depression. Look how many Christian people died during the Great Depression. Hundreds of people starved to death. Hundreds of people did not make it through the Great Depression or the Dust Bowl. And they were Christians. Yes, sir, Warhorse. And that's what I say with everybody. You're all my family. And I would rather y'all listen to me and hate me and be angry with me for saying what nobody else is going to tell you. I mean, you can go to 50 bushcrafting channels, 50 survival channels, 50 homesteading, prepping channels out there. They're not going to tell you what I'm telling you. Thank you, Bama. Thank you, Warhorse. Right, Hooga. Yeah. I mean, I just know when I started spouting the truth about everything's not going to be a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow or anything. We went from like 11 people in chat down to 4. We, like when I started telling people about the bad side of things, how true humans are really going to react. I lost 6 people, 7 people when I started telling them the truth. When I started telling y'all about how reality is going to hit us. People don't want to hear especially in our community, especially in our prepping survival community. Nobody wants to hear that we're all probably going to die in an SHTF situation. You know what? If SHTF happens this year, it's our generation, it's us that are here now that is going to have to teach all these people how to survive. And it's not going to be our generation that's going to survive. Our generation during an SHTF situation, the first generation of every situation, is the ones that go through the pain, go through the suffering, go through all these different scenarios to make things better for the next generation. Right, Warhorse, yeah. I know, Bama. It's just because the truth is, our generation is going to be the ones that suffer. We're going to be the ones that's going to be crawling in dirt. We're the ones that's going to have to survive people killing people. We're the ones that are going to have to turn this world around, or at least take the blunt of the damage. And then the next generation is going to have to take over from what we created. It's been that way. It's been that way since the dawn of time. The first generation made it better, learned skills that they needed, learned how to do everything and taught it to the next following generation. And then that generation could expand on those knowledges and make it better for the generation after that. It's got to the point. Right, Hoga. Right. It's in this day of age, people have turned on each other so quickly. I mean, look how society has happened at the beginning of the pandemic. There was literally people killing people for toilet paper in grocery stores. There was people. Look at the people with the riots. Look at the people that went stir crazy, had cabin fever for being locked up in their homes and nowhere to go, like caged animals. That should wake you up and see how society is going to be in a emergency, in a STHF situation. If people don't have internet, if people don't have TV, if people don't have ways to entertain themselves. Right. Right, Huga. Take care, Warhorse, brother. Love you, brother. But if you have not woken up, if you have not looked at how society has been in the last 2 years, there's no helping you. There's nothing that I can do to open your eyes and say society will turn on anybody. They just need a excuse to turn, to become something that they're not. I seen people I saw people that never lied, never, you would not believe that these people, you would think these people are the best people in the world. I saw these people literally, they would give shirts off their back to the homeless. But when the epidemic happened and everything, and they were trapped inside, and all they had was YouTube and Netflix and all this stuff at their disposal, their whole entire demeanor changed. They are not the same people that I knew before. Like, I could not, I don't like them now. And I used to like them before. But that is the way humans are. Humans will turn on you like a rabid dog. They have no remorse. They have no care. All it takes is time to see it. And especially when something's threatening their stability, when it's threatening their humanity, that's when you're going to see them change. And the worst thing is food or automatic detriment needs. I mean, if you're serving rations to 3 or 4 people, okay, and say the last person on the table gets, you try to give, you have the same spoon or ladle or whatever, you pour the exact same amount everywhere, but the last person on the table gets the same the last person on the table gets the same ladle amount and everything, but you pour out the last bit of scraps onto their table. That is going to start a war with people because they think you like that person more. You're trying to, you know, you're trying to give that person more ration or more food. And it was, say it was just the last bit of grease with three more rice seeds. Right, Hooga. Oh yeah, Bama. It just seems like in this day of age, there it's not really good and evil. It's like the subject of this. It's the mentality. It's how easy people are broken. That's why I had this conversation. It's not good or evil. It's people that are taking themselves first instead of anybody else. And instead of equally sharing, it's me, me, me first, because that's how society has made the last few generations become in the last 20 years. It's always, I am number one. I'm number one over Hooga. I'm number one over Bama. Bama's number one over me. Hooga's number one over Bama. That's that kind of mentality. It's not truly evil. It's just they are thinking that their self-worth is more than anybody else. Oh, that's amazing, Hooga. I love that idea. That's awesome. That is so awesome. I really like that idea. That's adorable. People, you know, and humans are the one race that will change on you on a dime. They will flip a situation around on you on a dime. They don't care. Everybody in this day of age is now a victim, quote unquote victim, no matter what it is, you know? Like me and Mrs. Star was in a Walmart line one time, and she was in line and I had to go and get food. I had to go and get something that we forgot. Well, there was a person in front of us and she was the next one in line. So she started putting her stuff on the belt and everything. And I went to go get what she wanted me to go get. And I came back and the people in the line behind knew I left to go get something. And I said, I'll be right back. And when I came back, people thought I was cutting in line in front of them. And they were like, "You got to get in back of the line. That's a separate purchase." And I said, "She is right up there, and that's who I'm with." And they were like, "No, that's a separate purchase. You got to get back in line." And I just walked up there and I put it with the rest of the groceries. And I said, "This is where my spot is." Oh, that set off like four people. Yeah, but the bad thing is Bama is we have to deal with bad. That's the thing. And there's more humans in this world than there ever has been, you know? I mean, just like in the city of San Antonio, there's almost 4 million people in San Antonio. And that many people going into chaos in an SHTF situation is scary. I mean, even out here in the sticks where I am, the whole entire community and everything is like 200, like almost 200,000 people out here. Right, Hooga. They would stab. If they, you know, America has freedom of speech, so they can say whatever they want to say and everything. But in an SHTF situation, there is no laws. There is no humanity no more. And people, that is the time when people do not have to be human anymore. Oh yeah, brother. Yeah. That's one of the things that you have to watch out for. Even in the countryside, there's more and more people from the big cities moving out into rural areas and trying to change the ideology of rural people because they come out to the sticks so they can buy more land and have a bigger house and pay less taxes. And they don't have to pay city and county taxes anymore. But they want the city way of life to be out in the rural areas. You know what I mean? Like you can't even talk to people that's from the city as you can people in the country. People in the country, you can talk to them like they're your best friend. But in the city, people look at you like you're insane. Like, why are you talking to me? Oh, really, Huga? Dice. See, when Texas did that, it's like a double-bladed knife. You know, it's good on one cut, but it also cuts on the other side also. That means that means it's good for normal thinking, reality thinking people, common sense humans, but it's also opened up to anybody that can mentally break down also. That means the gun stores and everything are going to be able to open up to anybody. Nice. Nice, Bama. Like with me doing security and everything, here in Texas, I had to stop a guy that was homeless because he bought a gun. And I had to stop him from being able to grab his gun out of his bag and everything and use it on the bus. And the good thing about it was he didn't have the clip in the gun at the time. And it didn't have one in the chamber either. So you got to look at both sides to this, the bad and the good. It's good to open up that law because normal citizens can now carry and protect themselves from bad people. But those bad people are now armed also. See, I was thinking the same thing, Bama. Why are they why are they allowing that everywhere? And the reason why is because there's so much bad in the world. It it's happening because of all the riots that happened. People were not able to protect themselves. People were afraid for their lives. And it's kind of like a safety blanket to normal people. You know what I mean? At least they may never use it, but at least keeping it with them is a safety blanket to their mental state. But it, I don't know. This world is going into chaos. You have to you have to look at it. You have to look at it with an open mind and opened eyes. You have to see it from every angle, not just one glorified angle. You have to look at every situation from the bad to the good. And there's going to be a lot of pain before there's going to be sunshine. There's going to be a lot of rain before the sunshine. I just I just hope y'all understand what I was talking about with all this, about mentally checking yourself, physically checking yourself. Everybody in the survival community say if you're in a survival situation, you do a checklist. You check your body, you check your gear, you check everything. Do the exact same thing outside of a survival situation or an STA or an SHTF situation. Do a mental check. All your fears, all everything that can mentally snap you, mentally break you, try to reinforce those things so it does not happen. It's just like how you would take care of your stocks and your preps, but do it on a mental scale and do it on a physical scale too. It try to make yourself better. Try to at least do basic exercises, sit-ups, jumping jacks, stuff like that. Whatever you can do to, you know, try to prepare yourself. But most importantly, over physical, look at all your weaknesses. Look at your physical weaknesses. Look at your health. Look at look at your body. Look at what your weaknesses are. You may not ever be able to strengthen them, but know what they are. And do not over prepare or overweigh yourself. If you had to, if if you need to bug out or whatever, go ahead and make your bug out vehicle. Have a plan. And before you think about bugging out, make sure you set a plan to bug out at least a week ahead if you see situations going bad to a point where you cannot upkeep your castle anymore. Right, Huga. Right. And I know there's some situations where you can't plan a week ahead of time. Yes. But in your preps and in your stock, make a bug out prep list. place cans or food or MREs or something that's going to be at least a month or two, at least a month to 6 months, that you could grab in that you can grab in bags and move out to the car quickly so you can get out of there and you still have some of your preps with you. Nice, Huga, nice. Nice. Yeah. But all right, family. I'm going to head and get off of here and everything. I'm going to go to sleep. I'm off the next 2 days, so I'm going to try to do some live streams tomorrow and everything. Um, we may go and look at campers on a live stream, campers and RVs. Um, but and we may go look at, a car auction also tomorrow. So see see what would be a good bug out vehicle, because at the beginning of car auctions out here you can go and see the cars before they go onto the floor. And there's a car auction tomorrow that I may be going to. So go see if there's a good truck that I could get for dirt cheap. All right, Bama brother. You take care, brother. Oh, you too, Huga. Yes. All right, y'all take care. I love y'all. Stay safe and take care of yourselves. And always, always keep an eye out, because you never know what's around the corner anymore. All right. Love you, family. Y'all take care. Bye.